Okay, hello everybody and welcome back on a new video from CG Blast channel. Today I'll be going through a simple animation which is creating a basic obstacle course with a bouncing ball. So it's not going to be it's not going to be a complicated animation. It's just a little explanation on how I will personally approach this kind of animation. Sometimes it's hard for animators to plan properly a shot, so to not fall into troubles and creating too much complex things, too much complicated things, and keep things simple. So in this shot, we're going to be looking at how to simply just put few keys and work into the graph editor of Autodesk Maya 2019 and how to properly animate a shot in the way that I would approach them. So first of all, I want to open right here a tool that for me is really is key for animation, which is the Tween Machine. So if you haven't seen it yet, I would recommend to look for another video in my in this YouTube channel regarding the tools that I usually use. Maybe there are some of them that are not included in that video because actually there are some other tools that are really helpful. We can eventually talk about them in another video. But for now, I think the only tool that we're actually going to use besides the graph editor is going to be the Tween Machine. So as you should know, this is a video first of all for junior animators, people who are trying to learn animation. So check out the first video, which is the most important one for who is starting animation, which is about the bouncing ball. You know, how to properly make an animation of a bouncing ball into Maya 2019. So that's the first video, so check that out first, and then we can move to this one, which is a little bit more complex. So an obstacle course is one of the things that junior animators need to learn from my point of view. At least this is for what has been my training journey. So after a bouncing ball, we have a training on how to animate different kind of bouncing ball, which is, you know, a heavier ball and a lighter ball. And then we have something like this, you know, having a simple or more complex path for a ball into an obstacle course. So what we're going to be doing now in this animation is that this ball will be just falling down, following this path here, then going up, doing a few bounces, and then stopping here. Okay, so seems easy, but it's not that easy for certain things. It's gonna keep us a little bit of time working on it, but let's just have fun and see what we can pull out of it. So the first thing is that I want to go and check if we are in stepped mode, so we can put our main keys first into the timeline that we have down here. So right now I have a timeline that goes from frame 1 to 120, and I think we are in a good range. I think we're not gonna be needing more than what we have right now. Maybe actually 100 frames is still too much, so let's go down to 80. So I think it's gonna be enough, or even less, we'll see. So let's go here and put a key, and then just a few keys later, let's go like frame, let's say 16. I want to put my first key here, which is this point, okay, oops, where actually the ball is starting to, you know, be half inside the obstacle course. So we see it at this kind of point, okay? And then we're gonna put few keys later. Let's say here, let's say 6 frames later, here in the center of, in the middle of the base, let's say, of this obstacle course. Then other 6 frames again, let's put it here. We're gonna eventually change, the amount of frames later on. Okay. And then I want to go like a few frames later and bring the ball just about, let's move it a little bit like in this spot, okay, which is the highest point before, making it go down again. And then other few frames later, we're gonna, let's say 52, we're gonna bring it here when it's going to touch the ground for the first time. Okay, so with that said, let's see a little bit what we have right now. We don't have much. So actually, before we see what we have, I just want to put some other keys in the timeline, assuming that we have some bounces. So let's take the bouncing the ball and put like 1, 2, 3, 4, and or maybe, you know what, we can do like, we can put the bounces later. Yeah, we can eventually do that later. So this is a different kind of approach that I'm going to use right now, but it works anyway. So it's going to be like, let's see a little bit of what we can do to make it easier. Okay, let's start from, just okay, let's do this kind of way. And we're going to put few keys just regarding the bouncing, just up and down, okay? So it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4 up here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and bring it down again. And 1, 2, 3, bring it here. 1, 2, 3, down again. Then 1, 2, up here. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Okay, so this is gonna be just the up and down, the main keys of the ball. Okay, so right now I'm not having, the first bounce that goes up. It's not so high, so we're assuming that maybe this ball is a little bit heavy, but we can adjust things later according to the kind of feeling that we have, right? So let's just see for a moment what we have right now. So we have this ball, and maybe, you know what, we can make it start, yeah, put it a little bit higher and see what we have right now. Okay, so basically nothing too special, something really easy, gives us the sense of what's going on. Okay, so at this point we have this sort kind of layout, which is pretty much as a blocking, right? So once I have enough information, so usually when I'm working on episodes of a cartoon or maybe on a video game, right now, for instance, by the time that I'm recording this video, I'm working on a TV series for kids, and so usually I tend to have not much going on in my blocking, because it depends on the kind of show that you're working on, and especially on the amount of complexity of your shot. So in this case, the shot is not so complex, but what we have right now is, I think, enough information to then work into spline mode and adjust things into the graph editor. Okay, and maybe put the other details later on. So what I would like to do right now is, first of all, be sure that we have keys to all the controls here: the translate X, Y, and Z, rotate X, Y, and Z. So we could just go through all the keys and put a, be sure that we're putting a key to all the controls of the ball. Okay, so let's see a little bit of what we have here. So let's convert all the keys of the ball into auto mode. Okay, so if we play the animation, we see that actually there's something maybe that's working, but 90% of the animation is not. So one of the first things that I would like to do is be sure that at the beginning there's a little bit of more, hang time in the air, that actually the ball speeds up. So putting the first key into flat will ease, will have a more ease sense. You see that it's like if it's taking, the movement is starting from a hold to accelerate, frame by frame, and we see like it's speeding up, right? So right now, what I would like to do is to open up a different kind of view in my viewport in order to see what's going on. No, wait, let's see. Maybe this view is better. Let's go back into side view. Okay, so let's just pull out the Tween Machine for a moment because we're not going to use this for now. And we're going to open our graph editor. So right now, as you can see, all the tangents are really smooth. It's really, we have the sense of very floaty things, right? So the first thing we want to work on right now is this part, right? So it's the part where actually the ball is falling and then reaching this point, okay, which is the center of the of this obstacle course. Okay, so first of all, I would like to adjust a little bit this tangent and make it a weighted tangent. So at the beginning, we can spend a little bit more time making the ball stuck in the air. Okay. So you see, it's like that it's speeding up more. Okay. And one of the things that I'm noticing right now, that because it's really fast, how the ball is accelerating, I feel that these frames are too much. Okay, so this frame needs to come earlier. Okay, and I think also the next one. So let's cut out a few frames. Okay, so I still think that we need to speed up things more. Speed up of, say, one frame here, one frame here, and see how it goes. Okay, so one of the things that I want to see also here is that, as you can see, there is no, in the translate Y, we have this like strange shape here, and I don't really like it. It's not like really smooth, so I want to adjust it a little bit more. Okay, so we have a nice U shape down here that will need to reflect as much as possible as this U shape. Okay, so let's see what we can pull out of it. Let's keep this key flat and adjust it a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so with this little change that we've done, we're starting to feel a little bit more the difference, right? We can see that actually the ball is not losing speed as we get to this point, right? Maybe it loses a little bit, but not that much. And one of the things that I would like to also do here is that there are some frames, as you can see, where actually the ball is intersecting a little bit. You see, it's intersecting the obstacle course. So we want to fix that by adjusting these frames, putting a key to translate Z. Okay. Oh, and we forgot one important thing is that once we change, you see, if I put a key here, there's this like step mode key, and this is because we forgot to put the keys on auto mode. Otherwise, they're gonna be continuing, we're gonna continue having keys on step mode. So in this part here, I usually prefer adjusting things manually. Okay, like this. All right. So let's see a little bit how is the feeling of it. Okay, so it's not bad, but I still think that actually we can speed up more something. So let's first of all continue pushing this key over here. And actually what I'm thinking is that I would like to push more this key, bring it up. Okay. And maybe hold down more this pose. Okay. So right now what we can do is that actually I feel that this part is still too slow. So I want to actually speed it up more. And at this point, I would prefer, this is a thing that many animators are afraid of, is to delete keys and start all over again. But we don't need to be afraid of this. This is a part of the process. Okay. Okay, so I feel actually that it's much, much better now. Okay. And of course, I feel that all this is happening too late. So let's bring it back. Let's keep it flat for now. Okay, this key. All right. I think we need to also adjust a little bit this key, sorry. See how it goes. And eventually, you know, sometimes we can just, you know, work, you know, in order to not make, you know, intersections, we can just easily go and manually, you know, make some tweaks in the keys, as you can see that I'm doing right now, so that we don't have those intersections that we were having later on, earlier, I mean. Okay, I think that it's working properly now. This is another method, but anyone can use what they feel it's best. Okay, so now I think it's working pretty well, this part, till the point that the ball goes up here. But I feel that this other part needs to happen earlier. So let's bring it more on the left of the timeline. Okay. Okay, so right now I think we're in a good shape for what's the first part of the animation. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Okay. So what I would like to do now, just because I like having, you know, the sense of what's going on, I actually wanted to go into the translate Z tangent and bring the ball down here. Okay, so we have the key here. And since we have, you know, the ball touching the ground for the first time, I want to delete all the other keys, put this key on linear, and this other one on flat mode. Okay? I want to see what happens. Okay? So we're starting to, you know, give a more shape to what I was telling, as I was saying at the beginning. And what I would like to have is like this ball jumping and, you know, slowing down at the end of, you know, of this right side of the ground up here. So for now, everything is very floaty, as you can see, but it's okay for now, so we don't need to take care of it. So let's just continue the other things that we were working on first, and then we'll take care of it. So one of the things that I see is that actually the ball, this is the point. Okay, we need to understand that there are some key moments that we need to focus and never forget while we're animating this ball, jumping up here and then touching the ground. It's important to understand the key moments are this one at frame 20 and this other at frame 36. These are the two important moments. So right now I would say that this key on the translate Z at frame 30, we're not needing it. And I think that at this point, till this other one, we need to make these two tangents linear, because once the ball is in the air, there's nothing actually happening. There's no force that is controlling the ball. The only force is the gravity. So, and that's the translate Y. So there's nothing happening to force the ball to make some changes between frame 20 and 36. Okay, so all these frames on the between 20 and 36, we need to avoid having keys to the ball on the translate Z. And eventually also translate X. But in this case, we're working on the side view. So we are working on the translate Z. So this is what's happening. Okay, so actually what we're having right now is not bad at all. Okay, Maybe it's a little bit too fast when it goes on the ramp, but it's okay anyway. So I really like this part where the ball actually is holding itself in the air. That's pretty nice. That's not bad. So now what I would like to do is work on the actual bounces. So you can see here, if we can just close up our bounces on the translate Y, these keys 36, 44, 50, 54, 56 are keys that actually shouldn't be so smooth. They need to have a drastic change. It's a little bit like the bouncing ball, as we should know, right? So the kind of shape we will have working on these tangents are going to be mostly like linear, okay? And one of the things that I would like to do also is to break these tangents so that each tangent is separate from the other. You can see if they're not if we're not going to use this tool, if we want to work on just one tangent, it's going to influence also the other one. So let's just continue as I was doing in the first place, like linear and break tangents. And now I want to work in a way that I can have a smooth arc everywhere. Okay, here, also here, and try to, make these two parts, almost identical. Okay, I don't want to make them mathematically identical, otherwise it's gonna lose a little bit that it's gonna be too much perfect, right? And if it's too much perfect, it's gonna be not really believable, certain things. So of course there are some certain things that we need to create in a almost perfect way, but this is not the case. We can just work on it and see how it goes. Use our eyes to see if it's actually working or not. Of course, you need to have a pair of eyes that are trained in a way that we see if there are some big mistakes. And this is something that you can learn by attending animation schools, and then or maybe having a peer friend who is an animator, that can eventually help you out, trying to understand how to grow, and maybe have a fresh pair of eyes that can give you some feedback every time you have an animation done. So let's see how it goes. And so actually there's something that's working pretty well during the the bounces once the ball touches the ground, but actually there is something that I don't really like, and it's something happening here. We can see this is a common thing that can happen if we have sometimes not enough frames for our animation, and if we see here there's this snap almost, we have this frames where the ball is not moving much, and then boom, we have this great gap. So what we need to do is to see what's happening in the graph editor, and as we can see, actually, there is something that is maybe too much. All right, so maybe what we can do is simply take this frame and bring it more on the left side of the timeline, and then try to create a nice arc like we were doing earlier. Sorry again for my English. I want to remember everybody that I'm not American, I'm not English. I'm not from UK or any other parts of the world, countries where you usually speak in English. I'm from Italy, so I'm Italian, so sorry for any kind of mistakes that I can do with my grammar in English or whatever. So let's play the animation, see how it goes now. All right, so it's pretty nice. So it's not bad. Okay. So there are so many details that we can take care of, but I'm not going to go through those right now. I just want to spend a little bit of time in the slowing down, especially at the end. Okay, so right now I would like to break this tangent. Okay, and as you can see, these two tangents are not really identical. I mean, one is a little bit more different than the other, so I feel that I need to push this one a little bit up. I don't know. Or maybe let's try to experiment a little bit and see what we can actually do without breaking the tangent. If I just put it to linear, or maybe not. Okay, yeah, maybe I feel that we can eventually work a little bit more in details with this part. And maybe the most common thing we can do is to just bring this key a little bit more on the left so that we can have a little bit more sense, because I feel that I need to have more time for the slowing down process. Yeah, so there you go. It's just feeling better, and I'm feeling much better right now. So let's just bring it down here to 80, and eventually just slow down. Okay, so one of the things I would like to do right now, because actually we're in polish mode right now, so I just want to work a little bit more on this and eventually just bring the ball a little bit more on the right. This is a stage of the process where actually we just need to play around and see what works best. Oops, I did a mistake here. Okay. So I feel that maybe I can actually, I want to try, you know, just to see what happens. I'm working a little bit, you know, modifying this tangent here. You know, I don't know. I just want to play around with it a little bit. You see, if I play with the tangent, you know, randomly, it's gonna give us some strange things. So we need to be aware, not make changes that are too drastic. I just want to just play around. You know, I'm just trying to see what I can do. Actually, I feel that maybe the ball is going too much on the right this time. Okay, that's not bad at all. So one of the things I also want to do is that when actually the ball is starting to, you know, is making the last contact with the ground, without having any more bounces, I actually want to put a key on the translate Z and put it on linear again. So have these two on linear. Okay. I want to extend just a little bit more the animation. Usually when we're in production, we usually have, you know, we are not allowed to extend animation, at least if it's something that we are allowed to do from the directors or our supervisors, you know. So usually we cannot choose to do this kind of things, but in this case, just for a personal, you know, choice is to say, okay, let's extend the animations and we can have more time making the ball slow down in a more proper way. So let's also delete this key here, and like we were doing at the beginning, I want to try and make the ball slow down in a proper way. Okay, actually maybe it's good if I put auto key on this one right now and see how it goes. All right. So I think that maybe we can pull this more up. It's all about sometimes, you know, how much we want to spend time on animation, so to make it feel the way we want it. All right, so this is not bad at all. Okay, so actually right now for what we have, we can try to modify the animation so that, you know, taking all these keys, you know, from this point to make it, you know, like we want to bring the final ball more on the right, so we can, okay, but actually we can keep it like this for now. Yeah, that's not bad at all. So maybe we can pull this one down. Okay, well, that's not bad. Okay, so we have the sense that the ball is really not so light. Okay, so what we can eventually do is, let's see, we can bring maybe this guy a little bit up. Maybe add a little bounce if we want, or maybe not. Let's play around with the keys. Yeah, we can give the sense that the ball is a little bit more heavy. Okay. Yeah, maybe try to make it more. Okay. So I think that we can actually add just a little bit of details at the end of this and put a couple of keys. Okay. At this point, make these two linear. Okay, we're not gonna feel much. Okay. And we can eventually also bring this key down here to translate Z, where's the last contact with the ground, never leaving the ground ever again. Okay, so I think we are actually there. So this is the actual final animation. Let's just zoom a little bit so we can see the feeling of it. Okay, so we're done. And of course, we can also work on the rotation of the ball, but we can eventually see this in other tutorials. But I think that in the animation tutorial of the bouncing ball, you know, how to animate a proper bouncing ball, we are gonna also see there. Don't forget to check that video out on how to work on the rotation of the ball while it's, you know, going along a path and then stopping. So they're a good way to match, you know, the translations and the rotations of a bouncing ball that's, you know, bouncing and then going to a complete stop with a proper rotation. So I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and eventually let me know your thoughts. If you would like to see certain kind of animations, starting from simple animations to more complex stuff, we're going to be moving in the future days, weeks, and months on more complex stuff. So we're going to be like going step by step from simple animations to more complex things. So thanks for watching again. Hope you see you soon and take care.